Hi everyone, this recording is to accompany a existing blog post on how to mine your knowledge management processes and the knowledge table. So first of all, if you want to get to that blog post, just go to Google and type ServiceNow Process Mining blog, and you land on this blog post where you could search for a blog post pertaining the knowledge base. So point ServiceNow Process Mining to knowledge base and spot inefficiencies. When you go into the blog post, you'll realize there's no video recording. So this recording is to accompany this post, and we'll execute the steps mentioned in this post. So first off, what is knowledge base? For those of you who have not used ServiceNow knowledge management before, for them, just a quick starter that it helps you drive your KPIs like first time resolution. So the knowledge articles are where all the knowledge resides from the previous incident or case resolution. And if a agent comes across a new case or a incident, they could first access the knowledge articles to search for any past similar cases, and they could then based on that be able to resolve their cases or incidents quicker. So that's the whole intent of leveraging knowledge articles to expedite the resolution of cases and incidents. So if you start mining your knowledge base, it's certainly going to help you a lot. But knowledge management by itself would help you encourage self-service, improve the quality of your knowledge base through article quality index, by which your experts would review the existing knowledge articles and rate them for quality and improvement. Agentic AI also relies quite a bit on these contextual searches, and it relies on your existing knowledge base as well. So it's very important that you leverage knowledge management in your organization. And once you do that, then you could point ServiceNow Process Mining to your knowledge base to reap these benefits. So one is you could spot rework, where are the knowledge articles going back and forth from between draft and published and retired state, and you could then coach your knowledge content creators to make the process seamless. You could also identify topics of knowledge that show higher resolution times, and then you could focus on improving just those topic areas where probably the articles are not so effective because the incident or your case resolution times are still higher despite that those knowledge articles were referenced. You could test hypotheses like tickets rerouting when there is no knowledge article or a poor quality one on the topic, or vice versa. And you can also garner support from the knowledge ownership groups and show them how the poor quality knowledge articles impact the KPIs. You can continually improve your knowledge base with before and after analysis of how the evolution from a poor quality knowledge article to a very effective knowledge base has happened and how it impacts your KPIs. So I'm going to go ahead and show you these steps now on how to mine your knowledge tables. So before you begin, you need to access the process configuration setup on your instance. So let me now toggle to my instance. You need to just go to the all menu here and type process configurations. When you go in it, you might find an existing knowledge table in my case, because I've already created one for KB knowledge. If you don't have any, then you must click on new and create a new record. Using Process Config Builder is a new option in our recent releases, Yokohama and Xanadu onwards. So if you use that, then it gives you a guided setup way of creating a process configuration for any table that you'd like to mine. So once you create a new record here, you can select which table you would like it to be on. In our case, it's the KB knowledge table. and you can get started with it. Now it says that only one process config is allowed per table. So because in my case I have already created one, so I'm going to open an existing one. So once you create a new record, the page structure and everything looks the same. There are four parts. First is the process details, where you need to specify which fields you would like to mine. And for knowledge table, the workflow field is the one that represents the progression of records through steps. You could even specify which teams are owning a knowledge record, for example. So you could put in the assignment group or the ownership group, whatever you have in your instance, if you've customized anything, and save it. Now, which field represents the person working on it? And that's the author, of course. If you want to analyze any other fields, you can add it here. Breakdowns help you further dissect your process maps in process mining. These are the recommended fields for knowledge table, the category of a knowledge article, whether it was flagged or not, if it was generated with Now Assist, ownership group of the knowledge article, knowledge base that it comes from, the view count, version, topic, source, task. So it's not mandatory to have all these fields in. You could pick and choose and also add relevant ones for your instance. Child tables could also be added if you wanted to analyze knowledge table alongside any other table. So process details is a very important step in setting up your knowledge table for process mining. The next step is investigative features, where you can, if you wanted to, set up the machine learning features. So you can add these fields for root cause analysis. If you're interested in clustering, you could create a new cluster for your knowledge table and add it here. And even for work notes analysis, you could tweak some machine learning features here. This page is optional if you want to embark on machine learning. If you want to, for now, just go ahead and do process mining without these features, then even that's possible, in which case you could leave this as is. Impact metrics is something that attaches your KPIs to your process mining. You need to have performance analytics KPIs set up for knowledge table, and then you'd be able to link your KPIs in the knowledge table here to this KPI page. So if you don't have any knowledge related KPIs, then you'll not be able to attach anything here, but this is also not a mandatory step. You can move on to the next one. This is where improvement opportunities, that are the patterns that are being detected on your data set. So if you don't know what a pattern is, it's important to understand that ServiceNow gives you the patterns out of the box. The rule based one could be added manually if you know the rules behind detecting a pattern. But for automated ones, we already provide you out of the box. So if you see here, there are patterns already added for me for rework, extreme duration, slow transition for the workflow field. And that's because we chose workflow as one of the fields to be analyzed in the first step. So whatever you choose as the fields you would like to analyze in the step number one, it would potentially give you out of the box these patterns that you could add to your process configuration record. So for me, it's already added. So, and there is this very cool feature of get recommendations. So it is now giving you suggestions to add ping pong on ownership group, slow transition, extreme duration, these data patterns that could help you improve your processes. You could add all selected. It's always good to add more free patterns to your analysis so that you don't have to analyze all this manually. So pattern detection improvement opportunity step is complete, and now you click on finish. So you've basically done your initial setup that the article talks about here, going to the process config, setting up the process details, coming to improvement opportunities. So we are all done with this step. Now the next step is to actually create a process mining project, come to your process mining workspace. So here you go. If you go to your process mining workspace and then go to process projects, from there you could click on create new project. So here you go, and then you could toggle between the blog post and the steps here just so you get some bit of help on how to do this. So what it says is you need to point it to the KB knowledge tables. Okay, fair enough. So I'm just going to say knowledge analysis. Any name is fine. Point it to KB underscore knowledge. All right. And then it says go to the next step. And that's where the guided setup for project creation comes into play, which has 4 steps in it. So first step is already done. Second step is copier analysis. I'm going to go back to my blog post, and there it says that I must add these as the breakdowns, and I could add activities as workflow state or anything else relevant for me. AQI, which is your the quality of a knowledge article state, can also be added as one of the activities. For now, I'm just going to go with the workflow as activity, and then I'm going to add these as breakdowns. So let's do that. So activity is workflow. All right. And then I can save it. Breakdowns required are version, KB category, KB knowledge base. So you can select any that are relevant for you as a breakdown. But these are the ones that are out of the box fields that we know are important. So we could just follow these if you want to get started. Source ownership group. So source is where the knowledge article was created from. Maybe it's come from an incident, from a case, you never know. Article type, topic. Sorry. Article type, topic. And then lastly, flagged and sys view count. So flag, you could say view count, and that's it. So there are quite a few breakdowns. You don't need all of these. You could have fewer, or you could add any new ones relevant for you. Now, after that, you go to the next step, set improvement opportunities, and rule based. If you don't have any, then just leave it as is. For automated ones, we give you already in the process config record. If you remember, you added the free patterns that ServiceNow provides out of the box, but you added them to your process configuration record earlier. Now you're adding it to your process mining project record. So these are the relevant ones because you chose workflow as an activity. Whatever you chose as an activity, that would be taken as a reference point for the patterns. So you notice here that all the patterns are related to the activity that is the workflow of the knowledge article. So I'm just going to apply it to my project. And then the next step is nice and easy, just review and mine. I'm just going to go to my blog post to see that I have executed the steps mentioned there, and then I'm going to run the mine. All right, so let me just hit on mine project, full mine, confirm. And because the data set in my demo instance is not perfect, but I'm still going to use it to show you a little bit of analysis. But if it's in your instance, you might want to put some filter criterias, like you want to mine only the knowledge articles that were recently created, or any other filter conditions that you might find relevant for your situation. So it's running quick. It's batched up the audit log, access the training server, and then generating the models and insights and saving it back to your instance. All right, so now I'm going to click on view in workspace, and you can see right away 3,800 knowledge articles were mined, and they took about 5 hours to get written from start to end, from you know draft to published state. And the standard deviation and the median duration is here, so you can see the graphs as well. The most important part is the rework pattern here that you see, that it has been repeating twice from published to draft state. You can view this pattern in the workbench if you wanted to. For now, I can just go to the analyst workbench and see the full process map for those 3,800 records, and it shows me how it has progressed from one state to another, how much time it took, and how many records. My data set is a bit week, so I'm hoping that your data set will show you how the rework has happened. From publish, it's gone back to draft state. So patterns are also very low on my data set, but I'm sure that if you apply it on your real-time data set, you'll see much more here. All right, so after this, I am going to show you how to look at the breakdowns here. That's what the blog post is talking about. So go back here and put your breakdown filters. So view count, wherever the view count was very low, you know that people have not viewed the knowledge articles. Okay, so you can also see that ownership group, mine is empty, but you'd have a list of all the ownership groups and how long they take to publish the article. Source task is also very important. You see that a knowledge article was created from this incident record or this problem record and or a case, and that's a very good understanding of where the knowledge is coming from, and you could encourage this process of creating knowledge articles among your agents. You could apply filters by clicking on apply based on what you want to apply the filters on. And category is also another very good breakdown to see which knowledge topics are getting traction and which ones are taking very long to get published from start to end, and so on. So breakdown filters is a very good way to understand the quality of your knowledge base and how it's been used and how long does it take to get published after it's been initiated, and so on. Now, other very compelling use cases I'd like to cover is to mine your tasks table along with your knowledge table. For that, you first need to understand how the knowledge gets created from a task. So here you have a incident table, and on the incident record you see there is something called attached knowledge, and there are multiple knowledge articles attached to a incident record. Likewise, you could have a case that has multiple knowledge referenced or attached there. So the table that you need to mine is this M2M KB task table, and that could be mined along with the incident table. So that's another very good use case to follow. And then another thing to keep in mind is that if you go on your incident record under resolution information, you can also see there is a checkbox here, which means that that particular record was marked as knowledge. So there are two ways that your knowledge is attached to your source task. One is that it is under related records attached knowledge, and the other is that under the resolution information there's a checkbox where you mark a particular incident as knowledge. So here you can see that I've mined both knowledge and incident table alongside, and this is where it shows you the breakdowns also, like at what stage of your incident progression, when was it marked as a knowledge here true, and then how many hours does it take for knowledge to get published. So you can do this kind of deeper analysis if you wanted to very quickly and easily by adding incident table as a child table to your analysis. and you can even apply breakdowns to it later on. So let me show you how to do this bit. So if you look at my existing projects here, I'll be able to bring up the child table analysis here. So if you see here, there is knowledge attached that I have here as one of my use cases. I also have knowledge applied to task. Let me just search for the one that I want to show you guys. So um, here incident. So here you can see that there is incident table. Oh, sorry, so this is KB task to incident analysis. So let me look for KB task to incident analysis. So basically what you need to do is you need to when you create your project, as step number 2, you're supposed to add an incident table as a child table. So the first table that you will mine is the knowledge applied to task table, the M2M table that's mentioned in the blog post here. All right, so you need to add that as your first table, and then as a second table you can add your child table, like add child entity, and you can add your incident table as the second tables to the analysis. If you wanted to, you can put filter criterias like task number starts with INC, so that you don't get any other record table like case or request. You are only interested in mining the incidents that led to knowledge being created and so on. So you can then focus only on those task numbers that start with INC. Right, so this is a very quick and easy way of you adding first mining the knowledge applied to task table, and then adding the incident table to your analysis. The activities on the incident table could be knowledge or assignment group, and the breakdowns could be whatever on the knowledge table is relevant for you, and that's all it is. On the knowledge applied to task table, make sure you add workflow state as one of the activities, and breakdowns could be again any of these fields that you might be interested in. Once you've sorted out step number 2, then on step number 3 all those patterns will come automatically. You just need to add from the library, and then you mine your data set. After you mine it, you will be able to see this kind of a analysis where you see that the incident life cycle started, it was assigned to so and so group, and from which group has basically marked a incident as a knowledge or not marked, and so on. So you can increase connections, and because my data is a bit skeletal, I'm not able to show you everything, but you do see that which group has marked the incident as knowledge, and then the time taken from that incident knowledge, and then the knowledge finally being published, how many months it took, for how many records, 9 months for records, and so on. So that's all. We are trying to help you create these advanced use cases so you're able to use process mining effectively. Some of the tips here: make sure that the audit log is turned on for the knowledge table before you start mining. Consult your sysadmin for any fields that you might have relabeled, or any custom fields that you might have created. So instead of using the fields recommended in this blog post, you must first find out which relevant fields would be working out for you, because your system admin might have relabeled them or created some new fields. AQI functionality is available only after advanced knowledge management is activated. So, none of those fields would be available for you to add them as activities or breakdowns unless you activate the AQI functionality. Whilst knowledge is being improved, use compare functionality for before and after analysis to improve continually. So, what I mean is that if you've done a analysis like this, you can even use the compare button to see how your knowledge has improved before and after. So that's also a very good compelling analysis of the two models. You can see how your knowledge base's average duration has improved, median duration, and the routes and so on. So make sure you use all these cool features, and I hope you enjoyed the recording today and you'll use the blog post alongside this video recording to mine your knowledge base. Thanks for watching.